Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, see, before I asked you how you were doing, now you gotta extend it a little bit and sound a little bit more exciting. Simply because I think you probably will be to see this next band. We're so excited to have them here for a 404 session at the Southwest Soundstage. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Sly. All right, so I tell you what, I'm gonna kind of let you guys play and then we'll chat. I probably should have discussed this with you. Do you want to play music first and then interview? You want to play music, interview, music, interview?
Music first, I think.
Music first and then interview post.
Yes.
Yeah,
You feel good about that?
This is good.
great.
This back and forth chatting is nice before playing.
Okay, but you want to wrap it up right now.
Soon we're gonna move on to playing some music.
And then
so.
something has
let's
to
just
happen
talk all day.
like that. Okay, all right. Well, look, let's just roll into it. We'll chat after you guys play. That'll be cool. All right. So let's get to it. This is Sir Sly on Radio 105.7 404 session.
That's fast. That's like crazy fast. What happened there? This is yeah.
Let's get a little do-over.
Yeah, let's get a do it. We could.
So just so you know, like we've been
He's not texting.
this little drum machine.
He is though.
But it's crazy. It's like a little janky. It's like really fun to use, but you got sensitive, you know.
Oh, that sounds better, right? Oh,
right.
okay. Let's just.
1, 2.
Hey.
Would you stay a little bit longer if I told you I'd be okay? I could be stronger, yeah, I tell you that I could change. I could change if I really tried to. I could change. I could change if I really want to. 'Cause I'm lonely. I'm staring at a photograph of my one and only. I was just a young dumb kid with my thumbs up. Did I run to the wrong side? Did I run to the wrong side? Oh yeah, I was dumbstruck. Looking at it now, I can tell that I fucked up. Did I run to the wrong side? Ooh, I'm ashamed. I hang my head and I get on my knees and pray. Seems like I have not done this in 1,000 days, 1,000 years, dealing with my 1,000 fears. I don't know where they all came from. I let them grow and I should have tamed them. Should have tamed them. 'Cause I was just a young dumb kid with my thumbs up. Did I run to the wrong side? Did I run to the wrong side? Oh yeah, I was dumbstruck. Looking at it now, I can tell that I fucked up. Did I run to the wrong side? Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Well, everybody has bad days. I've had a fucking string of them. Never mind that I created them. Well, everybody has bad days. I've had about 1,000,000. Never mind that I created them all. Oh, did I run to the wrong side? Did I run to the wrong side?
You know what they say, second try is a charm. Is there any water around by any chance? Do you have water? Yes. Thank you. All right. What are we doing? Gold?
My mouth is made of metal, metal, metal. Pocket full of yellow, yellow. Pocket full of gold, and I hope you find your dream. Yeah. So what did you say back to me? I'm dreaming of Maybach cruising, maybe talking crazy, but I want it. 100,000 ways of choosing. Who the hell is out and who's in trouble? Maybe I'm too subtle. My mouth is made of metal, metal, metal. Pocket full of yellow, yellow. Pocket full of gold, and I hope you find your dream. And darling, never settle, settle, settle. Chasing down the devil, devil. Chasing down the gods that I hope you find your dream. I'm living like a silent movie, so shut your mouth and see straight through me. Finding that you're hiding in your money. I got 1,000,000 ways of losing, but nothing in my life worth proving. Chasing all my time is wasted. My mouth is made of metal, metal, metal. Pocket full of yellow, yellow. Pocket full of gold, and I hope you find your dream. And darling, never settle, settle, settle. Chasing down the devil, devil. Chasing down the gods that I hope you find your dream. It's a push and the pull, it's a rise and the fall. I don't know you a single thing, I don't know you anything. It's the push and the pull, it's the big and the small. I don't know you a single thing, not a goddamn thing. My mouth is made of metal, metal, metal. Pocket full of yellow, yellow. Pocket full of gold, and I hope you find your dream. And darling, never settle, settle, settle. I'm chasing down the devil, devil. Chasing down the gods that I hope you find your dream.
Now from chasing down the devil to running from the devil.
staring into headlights. Swallow me whole, finding my peace of mind. I'm just trying to seize the moment, trying to love the little things, even if they're hard to love. Monumental love unspoken, carved in stone, willing to come undone. Feels good to be running from the devil. Another breath and I'm up another level. Feels good to be up above the clouds. It feels good for the first time in a long time now. I remember back in Oakland, I was lying there in rapture on the bathroom floor, moving hotel to hotel, out on the road, no idea really what's in store. Light it up just like a flashlight, let it shine, let it rise just like a foreign sun. Turn it over and it's capsized, it's finally done. Battle's lost, yet I feel I won. Feels good to be running from the devil. Another breath and I'm up another level. Feels good to be up above the clouds. Feels good for the first time in a long time now. Feels good to be me. I'm high, staring at the ceiling, sending my love. What a wonderful feeling. What comes next? I see a light. I'm along for the ride as I'm taking flight. I'm high, staring at the ceiling, sending my love. What a wonderful feeling. What comes next? I see a light. I'm along for the ride as I'm taking flight. Feels good to be running from the devil. Another breath and I'm up another level. Feels good to be up above the clouds. It feels good for the first time in a long time now. It feels good for the first time in a long time to be me. Feels good for the first time in a while I'm free. I'm high, staring at the ceiling, sending my love. What a wonderful feeling. What comes next? I see a light. I'm along for the ride as I'm taking flight.
Sirs Live for Radio 1057, 404 session, Southwest Soundstage. I must give a disclaimer. If you haven't seen Sirs Live before, this is a very mellow, like sort of, this is like the decaf version, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like our stripped down set used to be even more mellow. We'd bring like 4 times as much stuff on stage with us, and somehow it still managed to be like way more somber. But I mean, with this album and everything, it felt a little bit better to take more things off stage and then put a little bit more energy out.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, sometimes it works that way. Sometimes it's, I feel like with some bands, like the equipment almost becomes a barrier between them and the audience
Yeah.
sometimes.
I think it's easy for us to hide behind gear because we're not. I mean, we can be outgoing people for sure, but like I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, "So he's so excited to go out on tour." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like I love playing shows, but also there's a part of me that would just stay in the studio forever and write music."
I was going
I'd
to ask
never
you
see the light of day.
if you had a preference, like, and I feel like bands kind of, it's like a love-hate thing. Like sometimes they love being in studio and sometimes they love being on the road and sometimes they hate each of those experiences too. I mean,
I never hate being in the studio.
so that's your zen right there.
No, I definitely get frustrated at times, like having a hard day. Like we would talk all the time during the making of this record, like, oh man, today we're really hitting a wall, and it's creatively exhausting, and it's really hard to come out of the like trying to write for a day and feel like you have nothing, or trying to write for a week and feel like you have nothing.
Right.
But I still love it. I still love that whole process.
They like inform each other a lot. Like I think that on High is
Yeah.
like a song that
You need that.
oh yeah. It's like streaming on the internet somewhere.
Right,
so I
right.
should
So
be-
now they can hear you.
Hello,
Hello, people
everyone in here and on the internet.
out there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You're sick?
Yeah.
You sound great for being sick.
I'm not like fully sick.
Oh, it's
I started
coming.
feeling the first bits of it before flying yesterday, and I was
Oy.
like, I started downing emergency and doing all the like goofy stuff that moms tell you to do.
Yeah.
I was like, emergency, and like I'm gonna get some Advil PM, and so I can go to
Gargle
sleep.
with
like,
salt water
yeah,
and all that
yeah.
Yeah, I've tried it too, and it still hits you like a brick wall, and you're like, damn. All right.
I think Hayden was
Oh.
trying to say something before.
Yes.
we
Oh no. Well, the only thing was, like High sort of came from a song like High came from playing live and wanting to have a song that it came from a lot of places, but one of them was having a song that felt really good live, like
Yeah.
having a song that was like that we could dance to, that like other people could. So they play off each other in a big way, and like we haven't written anything in like a while because we've been like promoting this record, but like
Sure.
yesterday for the first time, like we were all I think we all sort of were met like a bit on the plane or whatever, like demoing little stuff, messing with little things, like we were writing again. And that's now that like as
So-
we're on tour, you have that hunger again. So they play off each other, though. Yeah, I'm kind of a studio cat too. I'm
Do
like
you
a house
find
cat.
being on the road actually inspires you to write more to get back into the studio? Is it like a cyclical thing with you guys?
I think. I mean, we only really have the two
The two,
records,
right,
So
sure.
it's a little bit.
But anytime you want to drop more, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. Like we were even like I was reaching out to Portugal the Man on Twitter and being like,
I saw
"Hey,
that.
can-
Did they get back with you?
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
That's
and
yeah.
so like hopefully there's a chance that like because I mean I've been listening to them for at least a few records now, and I think
Yeah.
they're on like their 6th maybe.
I think this is 8th.
Is this 8?
That's
Yeah.
so cool. That's
Yeah.
But I've been listening to them since like Satanic Satanist.
Okay.
Which was like I think 2 records before Evil Friends maybe.
Right, maybe.
And Evil Friends was a great record, and then this new one's amazing as well. And I'll stop preaching about Portugal the Man. But that was like one of the impetus. I think an impetus for like wanting to write. We're always trying to write more and more, and I've been thinking just about like, you know, you go around, you meet all these people who are playing music as well, and being collaborative with them too is amazing. So I'm like, well, why don't we like? It'd be amazing to try to open up the box a little bit more.
Right.
And like as we've been doing music videos and stuff, I've been working with friends, and I think you know this album and like there's a lot of like darkness in the lyrics, and there's a lot of grief and bitterness and anger and all this kind of stuff. But then there's also like little tiny flashes of hopefulness. And I think that's a part of like wanting to branch out, collaborate more, meet people, like really try to create a world that like is exciting for me to live in, because at the end of the day, like I can write about being sad and grief stricken as much as I want, but it's nice to be able to do that in the comfort and safety of doing it with other people, and to really try to branch out and create a world of like social interaction and fun
Yeah.
between people who are also trying to create like that.
So, you know, talking about a band like Portugal the Man that you'd like to work with, are there other bands that you guys are looking at, or you've self-produced these 2 albums, right? Have you thought about this young man?
I mean, it's self-produced, but Jason is the.
But it's Jason.
He's
It's
like
Jason
the
produced.
yeah. He's the stopgap. It starts or it definitely ends with Jason. We may bring different ideas in, but like on the tech side of things and on the wizardry side
Yeah.
of things, it starts and ends with Jason. Yeah.
So
It's
I mean,
like I can say something like, I don't know, it just needs to sound a little more round.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and
yeah, of
he
course.
can read you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's no button for like roundness on your
yeah,
on your
exactly.
computer.
Oh,
but
you
like,
mean this?
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean the
It's
roundness
not on the
tone?
board. Yeah. Well, so I mean, are you thinking in terms of like, would you, simply because you guys already have that sort of communication, would you think in the future of working with another producer or working with other bands or co-writing or things like that? Is that something you're already kind of considering?
I feel like the same way you have your favorite food, but trying new foods is good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. That's kind of the way I feel about it. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
like I love collaborating with other people. It's hard to imagine ever being like, yeah, let's never self-produce again. But
Yeah, I think for our own albums, I would think until we get bored of doing it ourselves.
Right.
or until we find somebody like Radiohead has Nigel, or like Coldplay had Eno
Brian
for
Eno.
a
Brian
while.
Eno.
Like, unless we were to find somebody that was like, oh, this is the most natural fit, and like you're really bringing something that we've never, like on a consistent basis.
Right.
It feels, because this album, like I've said this so many times now since we've released the album, but the studio was really like a safe haven. It was like, it felt so amazing and comfortable to be able to go there, but also like I had them two helping, like we were all pushing each other and stretching each other, but also like it was safe to be there. And until we were able to find somebody like that, which I mean obviously that takes time, so I'm willing to try stuff out, but until we get bored of that, I don't really see any reason to
if
make
it's
an
working
album.
as is. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's talk about this album. I mean, I had read that you guys actually, now correct me if I'm wrong in this interpretation, because I've read a bunch of different interviews, but like you had kind of the makings of a new album, and then I read somewhere that it was actually High. It was the song High that kind of pushed you into something completely different, which is the album we now know. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There's there's a song called 2 a.m. on the record that was on basically record 1.5, we'll call it.
Yeah, and Expectations,
and then
we
Expectations,
released,
which was the song we released.
But
yeah.
we had like maybe like another 9 or 10 that were like songs that we'll probably see like some of them were probably songs
I
that'll
was
see
going
the
to
light
say,
of day
what
again.
happens to those songs?
But like you hear about a band like Vampire Weekend for Modern Vampires of the City, they had written an entire record and then they were like, nope.
Yeah.
Scrapped it and then started again from scratch and ended up with one of my my favorite of their records. And then you hear about like Radiohead had all this extra stuff from OK Computer, like extra
That's
stuff,
now
which
out,
became
yeah.
In Rainbows, and then like there's
yeah.
rumors that a lot of that stuff was written in Rainbow stuff was written back in the OK Computer days. I think it's just about patience. It's about like understanding what we wanted to be as a band at this point in time, and understanding like what it felt important, like what message we were trying to get across, what felt the best to us to put together as an album. And I remember we wrote High, and we had like all this other stuff sitting around, and then we played. It was like 2 years ago. We played this festival in Pasadena. We went out to lunch with our manager, and he was like, "Hey," and he's a great manager for this reason. He sat us down. He's like, "Hey, you guys just wrote this song, and then there's all this other stuff that sounds totally disparate. Like there's not
This song being High.
Yeah, High." He's like, "You guys wrote High," and he's like, "There's all this stuff." He's like, "What kind of band are you looking to be? Like, answer that question for yourselves." Like, he's like, "This stuff is like esoteric, electronic, like not like." He's like, "It doesn't feel very similar to the first record." And we were like, "Well, we don't really want to be entirely similar to the first record, but High feels like a great jumping place to really go back and soul search a little bit more." Then obviously some things happened personally with, like, that was before I got divorced. That was, my mom was only sick at that point in time. She hadn't died yet. And then when all that stuff started happening, it was like really clear that it was time to dive back in and make a record that was like centered around High.
Right.
And centered around that type of feeling that we got from writing that song, which didn't click the same way. I'm proud of all the music we worked on, album 1.5. But
And maybe it surfaces in some other form of fashion or something like when the
there's
time
at least
is right.
there's
I
at
hope
least 3
so,
songs
yeah.
that'll that I would say will end up coming out
Okay.
eventually.
It's 2017, man. You can release music whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's like,
But don't overkill it, because there's
No.
some artists that do that, and you're like,
No, it took us 3 years to release 10 songs. So
Yeah.
you guys are doing.
I don't think overkill's
you're-
really good.
You're
It's
doing
really on
fine
the
right
horizon
now.
for us.
I know we're talking a whole lot about High, but I also want to get to the music video and the choreography. I didn't see that coming.
Thank you, Heather, for that one.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was
we
going
had
to
a-
say, where
we
did
had a
that idea even
choreographer.
come from? Have you guys seen that video?
That was my idea to
That was
do
you,
the
okay.
dancing, but not the choreography is not really in my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I approached them too, and I was working with my friend Kevin on all these treatments for the music video, and we were writing and rewriting and tossing stuff and doing test footage. And then I was like, "We're gonna dance." And then
gonna
I
do
came
a
to them
hot
and I was
dance
like,
number.
"How do you guys feel about doing choreography?" They were like,
No, we were way more in than that. I think we both. I don't
Really?
I was going to say a shrug of the shoulders
no.
to me means like, I don't want to be rude and shoot
Yeah.
down your idea, but no.
No, I remember not being totally sure if you were serious, but I remember being like, yeah, I'm in. But I didn't think you were serious. But like, I'm down, and it was really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like, we worked really hard.
I could tell.
There's some funny like behind the scenes stuff of me dancing over and over and over again. Well, like people are like setting up the music video, like they're
crazy.
setting up sets all around us and stuff, and I'm practicing over and over again. I'm like, I had to take my red pants off that I wore for that part because they were like getting completely soaked through with
You're
sweat. and I
turning a
was like,
different color.
it
and
was
you're-
so bad.
The choreographer did recognize at a certain point that Landon like was the best dancer, which is good, and started to like give him extra moves. Like Jason and I, like if you watch closely, like Landon has all these extra moves. Jason and I are like, just stick to the basics.
Yeah. You're the
Just, like,
backup
just
dancers.
keep it like keep it on beat.
There's
like,
only one Beyonce here, all right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They did. Yeah.
or as our stylist from that day, our hairdresser from that day called me Sexy Jesus.
yeah, sexy Jesus.
It's a good look
There's
for
only
you.
one Sexy Jesus
Yeah,
in this
there's
band.
only one, and I think we all know who that is. Yeah, so the video, if you guys haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. I also saw it might have been an interview. You said that those lyrics and everything came from a tour that you guys were on at one point. Was there a
with
specific tour?
This little band called the 1975. I don't know if you've heard of them before.
Ah, that explains
Yeah.
the song called "High." Yeah.
Well, no, the weed didn't actually come from them, though. That was like my first time smoking in years. And then after that, I ended up smoking with them a bunch during that tour. But
Yeah.
that was kind of the impetus. I was like, I don't want to, like, my first time getting high to be around these guys. And, like, so I was like, we smoked in Oakland, and I got way too high. And,
Okay.
like I'm gonna have I thought I could feel my brain telling me when I was gonna have an aneurysm, and I was like,
Oh.
people were like, you never die from weed. I was like, oh, no, I'm not gonna die from the weed. It just the weed has unlocked this portal into another dimension where I can feel when I'm gonna die. I was like, it just happens to be coincidental
start
that
writing that down.
I was like, the
and if-
aneurysm would have come whether I was high or not, but it's just like I can sense it coming now.
Now you know. Now you've unlocked the
Yeah.
superpowers. And
So then I was on the bathroom floor, like talking through. We were touring. We used to have a guy named Philippe who toured with us, and he was like he was my therapist, like talking me through it. Like
you really went
like,
off
"You're
the
gonna be
deep
fine."
end,
Yeah.
man.
And then I came out on the other side, and I was like, oh, you know what? I needed that. Like, I needed to feel that kind of like. I needed to realize that like my brain will definitely do some things like that on occasion, like panic and freak out, and then it's all it is my brain doing that. So it was nice. I think that's why the song, despite the fact that it's about feeling like I was going to die, ends up taking on kind of like a celebratory feel, is
Yeah.
because like the epiphany that I had out of that experience, definitely like retrospectively, I look back and I'm like, what a great time. Like that was amazing.
I figured out when I was going to have an aneurysm. Cool. All right. I also. Now, was this first album? I've also heard somewhere that there were like 50 songs you guys went into studio with. Was that
Ish.
the
A little bit
first
less than
album?
that. I think that one was
No,
like,
I think the first
album was like
album-
close to 40.
40. This one ended up at about 50.
If you count all the stuff
Oh,
we
so that's
canned
90
from the first
songs.
album.
Yeah. But a lot of them are on. I mean, we end up because we write
Let's
and
not call
record
them
at the same
songs
time.
necessarily.
Yeah. Well,
They're not done.
no, I mean they're complete, but they're like some of them are just really bad. Like, yeah. I mean, so there's like
I
a lot of
appreciate the
complete ones.
honesty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I think that's like totally the way. Ryan Adams says that he views songs as like things that are like out there, and you grab them and like you bring them in, and like that's the body of the song. Like they're not too. You can't like tailor them in every way, shape, and form and change it. And I like kind of believe that, and that's I think why we end up writing so many songs, because there's certain times where you're like, but this was like such a good beat and such a good melody, and you're like, but it's not working. And you're like, well, that's because that song doesn't work. It just is like you kind of grab it, it's not good, and you leave it. And so
And maybe not at this time.
Yeah.
I've heard of so many artists that literally will start a song and like years later come back to it and go, okay, now's the time.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, I still listen back to some of that stuff occasionally just to remind myself of like what kinds of pieces of things might work later. Like it's nice to have that kind of repertoire, but I also think that like part of becoming a better band is just being more self-aware and being able to know when a song is better than other ones, and being able to have like being okay enough with yourself to be able to kick a song out without it really hurting your own feelings, or like
Okay.
allowing somebody else in the band to be like, that song's not working, or that line's not working, or whatever it is, like that's not working, and to not get like your own feelings hurt.
Right.
Because otherwise you end up, if every song, if you yay say everything to each other and you yay say everything to yourself, you end up sound like half the stuff you're gonna come out with is garbage.
It's not gonna be a good album.
I'll tell a story, but I won't say what song it is because I think the song's eventually going to come out. There was totally a song like that on the album where like Landon was great about. It was a song that I think was like closer to Landon's heart than it was for us, and we were talking about the final track listing, and it was sort of like halfway on there, and then there was a point where Landon was just like, you know what, let's not. Let's like. I think the album is good as it is, and I think that song will probably come out. But that was like
that song will stay.
I had the
there's a
hardest time
good
being
moment
self-aware out of the group, for sure. Like there was there was also like we did like the album cover was supposed to be one thing, and then we did the shoot, and I really liked the photos, and the photos are great, but it became clear that like not everybody was feeling like it should be a cover, and I was still like it should be the cover. And then there was like a full on like that was probably the hardest day that we've had, the three of us like trying to figure something out
Over the album art.
Yeah, because it was
Forgot
the
about
deadline
that.
was like right there.
Yeah.
And I was having a hard time like getting on the same wavelength with them, and they were having a hard time, and I like had a full on like panic meltdown about it because I was like, I don't have any more ideas to give to this thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't. And then eventually I did have another idea, but like in that moment I was freaking out, and like
That aneurysm was right there. Huh?
yeah, right
Yes.
there. But I think that's what I'm trying to learn how to come around to a bit better, is like to be passionate about something, but also to be self-aware enough to be a good collaborator. And I think that's a part of the best creators, I think, are the best editors, or the best people who allow themselves to be edited.
I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely do. Okay, so I'm going to go with a quick speed round, a couple of questions about the album, and you're probably going to have different answers. As of right now, I know it's still new, and you're still getting used to it and then vibing with it on the stage. What are your favorite songs to play off the album right now?
And Run.
And Run.
Well, I mean, it's so easy to love a song when everybody's singing it back to you so high.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's
okay.
close to. That's
But
amazing.
And Run is cool because we do like a 9-minute version of that song live instead of the typical 4-minute version,
Okay.
and it's fun to let loose.
What was the hardest song for you personally in studio? Because what might have come to one maybe didn't come to the other person as easily.
I don't know my answer.
I think mine's High. High
Really?
was
Okay.
we actually listened. I was listening to an old iteration of it the other day. It went through so we must have recorded drums three times like separately. Got mixed so many different times. We tried recording with different people. That song was crazy. Like
And not really
Yeah.
because anybody else wanted us to. Like it wasn't like the
Yeah.
label was breathing down our neck like this song's a hit, but you got to do it better. It was like no, this like we felt like this song feels really special to us, and we're not going to stop until it feels exactly the way we want it to.
Okay.
yeah.
So is that a unanimous? You guys all think that?
For me, And Run just
Oh,
it's
really?
a pretty
Okay.
simple song, but just the way for mixing, I guess, just the way the frequencies sit, it's pretty nerdy sounding, but just balancing everything into that so everything has its own place.
And there were some late tweaks on that one. I think I came in like a
Yeah.
week before mixes were due, and I was like, that pre-chorus. I was like, that vocal part and I was like, it needs. And he was like, yeah. So like, there's stuff like that happens. A lot of that stuff actually ended up happening late. Head First was, oh man, my contact.
No, that's a bummer.
Very, very rare.
Okay. It's all on
It's on
video,
camera.
guys. Well, the lighting's good. Excellent. Okay.
All right.
You can do that without a mirror. I
Yeah,
cannot
Head
do
First. I think the hardest thing for me, at least throughout the whole album, was trying to keep everything as simple as possible.
Yeah.
To not overload, and so a song like Head First came really quickly in some ways, and then like the end of that song, we knew we wanted to change, but we couldn't figure out exactly what that change was. So there was some like push and pull there, like, well, is it like a drum thing, or is it like a new? How heavy should that bass be? Like all that kind of stuff ended up. So like every song has its own moments in that way. This
Right.
whole album was a bit like that from song to song. We cleaned over a lot of stuff really tirelessly. Some lyrics got changed throughout. Like there were little things like
I feel like Fun took a long time too. That one had a ton of
fun for sure.
Probably had like
Yeah, hands
Seven-
down.
17 versions.
I was gonna say your faces all were like, oh my god.
Yeah, no,
Right?
fun definitely. And it was so nice once we settled on a version that felt good, because it was like I had written that song with another friend and then brought it into the studio. And it was one of those things where I was like, I love this song. This song has a great energy. It says something in the chorus that isn't said anywhere else on the album, and it holds like that special place. And I wanted it so badly, and we reworked that song
Too many times.
at least four very different versions from each other, and then we ended up coming back full circle and just using like little pieces from each version to create the final version, which was mostly like the original demo.
One day in the studio, we went full, like we got into this mood where we were just like, let's push it in in the farthest like weird direction. We called it Fun Vinsky. There's like this artist Kavinsky is like 80s like synth heavy. So there's a version of Fun that's like so synth and 80s heavy. It's like not very good, but it
Which
was
will
like
not see the light of day.
yeah. But it just
the
became
look on your
like
face
a
where
thing
you're
of,
like, do we get to hear that?
yeah,
yeah.
no.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
B-side demo?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I know these guys have a lot of questions for you too, and we'll all meet up outside. And I really appreciate you guys giving us the whole behind the scenes of the album.
course.
It's so new. The tour is so
We'll
new.
talk your ear off.
I trust me, I have a lot more questions, but I don't want to take up anybody else's time or yours. And I really appreciate it. Again, show tomorrow night at Vinyl. It will knock your face off. I can say that in clear confidence. But again, we'll meet up outside. Thanks for checking it out on Radio 105.7 here at the
Thank you
Southwest
guys for being
Soundstage.
here.
Let's hear it for
Appreciate
Sir
it.
Sly.
Thank
Thank
you.
you out there on the internet.
And thanks for watching at Radio1057.com.